Good evening. Good evening, dear parents and teachers. We are exchange students who just finished the senior program and came back from South Africa. Today, we are going to share the fantastic meals we had and the sports we enjoyed playing with our friends there, and also the magnificent landmarks we have visited. The people there were very kind and easy to get close to, so we all have made a lot of friends and even left with tears when we said goodbye. Now let's welcome the first group, the City Development Group.
Hello everyone, I'm Hebe.
I'm Diana.
What is the most surprising experience for you to travel to South Africa?
In my opinion, the development of modernization in South Africa is the most wonderful.
Today, we are going to talk about the development of South Africa in terms of the population, economy, and mainly industry.
South Africa is a place with a lot of different cultures and races. It has famously been referred to as a rainbow nation.
As a start, let's talk about their city. In the year 2000, 83% of whites, 67% of Asian, and 41% of blacks lived in the cities. In 2005, the number of people who lived in suburbs accounted for 59% of the total population, which increased to 64.8% by 2015.
South Africa has the highest level of development and the most modern infrastructure in Africa. But housing shortage and lack of base station are still one of the major problems in urban areas.
Actually, the building industry in South Africa is unable to meet the growing housing needs. Therefore, informal housing can be seen everywhere in the surrounding areas of cities. Some of the cities, like Soweto, have to face the problem of overpopulation. In Soweto, 3 to 4 million people still live in a 130 square kilometer area.
The old black gathering place like marketplace are still likely because high housing price and rent prevent most blacks from moving to white living areas. This shows the gap between black and white is actually very big. The whites still have an important influence on the economy and usually hold the top position in companies. These wealthy people have indeed helped the economy, but the gap between races is still a problem.
So, what is the relative position of South Africa's economic development in the world nowadays? South Africa is the 32nd largest economy in the world. That's why South Africa has been known as a middle power in international affairs and maintains significant influence in Africa.
South Africa's economy is better than other African countries. Its GDP and HDI are both at a high level. This is because of their abundant mineral resources in Africa, especially gold and diamonds.
Another important factor in South Africa's development is tourism. Tourism is one of the fastest growing industries in South Africa at present, with an output value of about 9% of GDP and 1.4 million employees.
South Africa is rich in tourism and complete facilities. There are more than 700 hotels, more than 2,800 hostels, and more than 10,000 restaurants in the country. Popular attractions are mainly concentrated in the northeast and coastal areas. Ecotourism and cultural tourism are the two most important types.
Since 1942, South Africa's technology, industry, and foreign affairs have had some big progress. We can see South Africa is really using their resources well, and the recent developments are getting better and better.
We hope you can learn more about the recent development of South Africa through our report.
Now, let's welcome the next group. They'll introduce a sport which is famous in South Africa.
Hello everyone.
My name is Jackie and this is Junior.
Hey, what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about cricket. Cricket first began in the UK and quickly became popular in Australia, New Zealand, India, South Africa, and many other places. Its season is mainly in spring and summer, totally different from soccer. The game time for an international cricket competition can be 6 hours per day, and the game can last for 5 days. 5 days even includes the time for everyone to have lunch and snacks.
Cool. When I watch a cricket game, I always see a door built with 3 stakes. What's that?
That is called a wicket. It is similar to the home base in baseball. The batter prevents the ball from hitting the wicket. If the ball knocks the crossbar off the wicket, you're out. Now, we will compare baseball and cricket for you guys. They look similar, but in fact, they are totally different.
It's my turn to talk about it. First, hit by the ball in baseball can be good for the batting team. But in cricket, hit by the ball can be good for the fielding team. The batter can even get out by being hit. What's more, the shape of a baseball field is fan-shaped, but the shape of a cricket field is an oval. The number of the members on the field for baseball is 9, but in cricket, there are 11 people on the field. By the way, there are also cricket games in Taiwan too. It's called the Taipei T10 League.
Do you know any other details? I really want to know more about it.
Of course, yes. In cricket, we hit because we have to prevent the crossbar to be hit off the stakes. But we all know that in baseball, we hit because we want to score. If the stake hasn't been hit off by the ball, a good batter can stay on the field for a very long time. There was even a batter who stayed on the field for more than 10 hours. So this game can really last for 5 days. Last, let me tell you about different types of players in cricket. According to different people's strengths, they can be separated into 4 types. The first type is the batsman. This is the one who hit the ball. The second type is the bowler. This is the one who bowls the ball. For a team to be good at offense and defense, there should be 5 to 6 batsmen and 4 to 5 bowlers in it. The third type is the all-rounder. This is the one who is good at hitting and bowling. And the last type is the wicket-keeper, the one who stands behind the wicket, just like the catcher in a baseball game.
I think it's enough for sports today. Now, the next group will talk about festivals in South Africa. Thank you for listening.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to introduce festivals from South Africa. These festivals are related to food and music.
I see. Do you know what this is?
Oh, isn't that jazz? We've learned about that in music class.
Nice. The first festival is the Cape Town Jazz Festival, and our friends will talk more about it later.
I also like to share my experience of participating in one of those festivals. One of them is the Opikopi Bujabel Music Festival. This festival started off as a rock music event. As time passed by, it started to include a bigger diversity of music performances. The event lasts for a couple of days in August.
Interesting. Any others?
Of course,
Wait, I just thought of one festival. It's called the Splashy Fan Jazz Festival. Out of all the music festivals in South Africa, it is the longest one. This event begins in April, and you can see artists perform on stage and see a lot of fun events for children.
don't you feel a bit wild hungry when talking about these?
Kind of.
I would like to share my experience of a food-related festival. This festival is the Vicksburg Cherry Festival. It is known for being the oldest rock festival in South Africa. The event is like a combination of cherry tours, competitions, and marathons.
Speaking about food, I remember that cheese is very popular in South Africa. Do you like cheese?
Of course,
Then, do you know there's a festival about cheese? It's called the South African Cheese Festival. This event is one of the top events in South Africa. The main thing is that the star of the show is cheese. This event is in April, and you can see chefs showcase their talents on the stage. So, which festival is your favorite?
Probably the cherry one, because it's about food and I love cherries.
And we'll learn more about food from the next group, right?
Exactly. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Young.
And my name is Jun.
Today, we are going to introduce South African food. There are multiple races in South Africa, and the culture of food has developed in many ways. The first one to introduce is biltong. Biltong is a kind of meat prepared with spices, and many kinds of meat can be used to make biltong, such as beef, pork, ostrich, and so on. It is similar to beef jerky, but there are some clear differences, such as ingredients, flavor, and so on. And you might ask, is biltong healthy? It absolutely is. And the reason for that is because biltong provides high protein and low carbohydrates. The second one is chakalaka. It usually tastes spicy and is traditionally eaten with bread, pap, sausage stews, or curry. Pap is a kind of corn flour porridge in Africa. Chakalaka originated in a town called Johannesburg. When the mine workers made their ships in the mines of Johannesburg, they could obtain product was chili to eat. Now, chakalaka is made from pepper, onions, carrots, and any more. But how to make chakalaka depends on different areas and various traditions, so different families have their own recipes.
Thanks, Young. I learned a lot. Now it's my turn to share some South African food. First is mova pudding. It is a South African dessert of Dutch origin. It is made with apricot jam and has hot cream sauce on it. It is very similar to sticky toffee pudding, but there are still some differences between them. First, mova pudding is made with apricot jam. Second, instead of being served in caramel sauce, it has hot cream sauce on it. Many South African restaurants offer it. Next one is the milk tart. It is similar to a custard tart. It has the crust outside and filled with milk, egg, and sugar. The finished tart is traditionally dusted with cinnamon. It can be eaten at birthday parties or just after dinner dessert. Every school, church fete, and funeral in South Africa inevitably has it. It can be bought at most supermarkets, and every family usually has their own secret recipe.
That sounds delicious. I hope I have the opportunity to eat that.
Me too. This is all we want to say. Thanks for listening. And let's welcome the next group.
Hello everyone, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Gina.
What pops into your mind when you first think of South Africa?
Is it a vast wetland with herds of elephants? Or is it cheetahs sprinting after their prey?
These are both iconic features from South Africa. Today we're going to introduce some interesting animals from South Africa.
First, the cat fox is a kind of small mammal local to South Africa. It inhabits Africa's plains and the desert skirt. In its harsh living conditions, its small size enables it to consume very little water and find shade easily. Most importantly, it's easier to escape from its predator as soon as possible.
Moreover, as nocturnal animals, Cape foxes often hunt for food just before dawn or after dusk. It's the coolest part of the day in desert. They are also called the African version of the neck fox because of its silver gray fur and that yellow belly. This is the perfect camouflage in grasslands.
In addition, cat foxes enjoy a very wide variety of food. In other words, they basically eat everything. For example, caddises, grassroots, and young hairs.
Speaking of hare, the scrub hare is another species native to South Africa. They are primarily found in savanna woodlands 1,800 meters above sea level and tall grasslands only at night. Unlike other rabbits, the scrub hares are solitary animals. In other words, it's usual to see only one of them hopping around.
The most distinctive feature is on top two yellow white ears. Scrub hares have an earth yellow body for protection in the grassland. Since they mostly live in high altitude places such as plateaus or mountains, scrub hares have thicker fur which keeps them warm at night.
The last animal we're going to introduce is the national bird of South Africa, the blue crane. They're endemic to the east coast of South Africa and have special ritual meaning to the native South Africans, the Xhosa.
For example, when a man is determined to have courage, the chief will give him a blue crane feather that symbolizes bravery. In a celebration afterwards, blue crane feathers are sent to warriors to appreciate their victory. All in all, blue crane plays an irreplaceable role in Xhosa culture.
Blue cranes are 100 to 120 centimeters high and 4 to 6.2 kilograms in weight. They have a pale blue-gray body, a white crown, pink beak, and long gray wings. Their diet basically includes seeds and insects.
They are migratory birds, which usually nest in high grassland. They mostly live in high grassland or wetland and spend very little time in the air. Also, they are the most endangered species in the crane family.
As a result of human activities, the grassland in South Africa is shrinking constantly. Since 1980s, their number dropped sharply. Due to the disappearing habitat, they have nothing to eat, so they stay on agricultural lands in order to survive.
Blue cranes have visual blind spots, so they often collide with cables. In fact, rare collision and hoisting on the land reasons their numbers are declining.
Mother Nature is very important to us. Our daily life is so closely related to it. Therefore, it is our obligation to protect and preserve it. Next, let's enjoy some exotic music from South Africa. Thank you.
Good afternoon, teachers and classmates. We're students back from South Africa. I'm Alice. I'm Yovila. Today, we're going to introduce South African music, from ancient times to nowadays. South African music reflects the complex history of African and Western cultures, and of conflict and perseverance. It's like a melting pot of culture and nation. It combines different kinds of music tied together and makes their lifestyle colorful.
Since the 19th century, bands similar to the British military band have performed on the Cape Town streets. It continues today with an event like the Cape Town International Jazz Festival. Jazz in South Africa usually have a style which is similar to traditional jazz. Through its notes, we get to know the musician's personality. Cape Town International Jazz Festival has been held as the biggest party in Africa and the fourth largest music event in the world. You might enjoy dancing to the music. It is interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Miriam Makeba, who is affectionately known as South African Mom, was a black female singer. During the apartheid era, black South Africans suffered discrimination. Seeing all this, Makeba expressed her feelings through music. Her efforts have touched many people's hearts, and many of her works are full of happiness. This happiness puts people in a good mood.
I have heard the song Down South. The singer Jeremy Lewis is a South African. He is a modern one-man band. He makes guitar, ukulele, harmonica, and beatbox inside this song. I like this song very much, and I think he's awesome. He can show all his talents in one beautiful song.
Have you heard of the singer Lyra?
Of course.
She's a famous singer from South Africa. Although she was born in a poor family, but she has an optimistic attitude about her life. And this is the main reason why I love her very much. She has said, "Do what you can, with what you have and where you are right now. Laura lets us know it's most important to keep going and not let temporary circumstances weigh us down.
Folk music has encouraged many people and inspired my heart deeply. South African music usually performed with guitar, drums, and other African musical instruments. Through all of this, musicians have made sure that the 60 years folk music tradition will live forever. Next, traditional music. Traditional music in South Africa is also slowly evolving. They have combined many South African musical instruments with modern instruments to make traditional music sound more contemporary.
Every country in the world has their own special music, and their music can reflect their culture, custom, and non-circle feelings. By listening to their music, maybe we can get rid of our worries and enjoy the world of ourselves. Hope you can enjoy South African music well, and let's enter the world of South African famous people. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Winnie.
And I'm Sarah.
Today we are going to talk about the famous people in South Africa. I'm sure many of you might have seen a movie called Snow White and the Huntsman, but we are going to introduce an actress who played the evil queen in this movie. Her name is Shirley Theron.
The first movie was Children of the Corn Tree in 1995. Monster is the one for which she won an award for the Best Actress. The latest movie that she was in is Snow White and the Huntsman. And later in 2021, she will have a part in Fast and Furious 9.
She has won a total of 100 awards. What's more is that she is not only an actress. She is also a person who fights for women's rights and a supporter of African youth in the fight against HIV and animals' rights.
Speaking of fighting for rights, that reminds me of the most famous president in South Africa, Nelson Mandela. He did a lot to reduce racism and give black people their rights. During his presidency, he brought out a new law that guarantees both rights of minorities and the freedom for people to express their feelings in 1996. He also protected the economy from collapse and used the nation's enthusiasm for sports to encourage both blacks and whites to support the national rugby team. It sounds like his life was full of success, but the truth is, he faced a lot of problems. When Nelson Mandela was little, his dad lost his fortune and soon died. He got adopted, went to school, and became interested in African history.
His political awakening was at the age of 16, but he heard the chief's word during his mental ceremony. It was just as simple as people were enslaved in their own country. Most people just quietly sat there and felt sad about the fact, but Nelson Mandela took action by joining the National Congress. They defied the racist government but then got arrested in 1956. Nelson Mandela was kept in prison for 27 years, but this is also when his popularity grew.
When he got released 27 years later, he was elected as the first black president in South Africa. He then won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 for what he did for the people, but retired in 2004 because of cancer. This president is so famous that there are even books and movies about him.
His second wife is Winnie Mandela, who is known as the Mother of South Africa. She was also in prison in 1963. During this period, she helped her husband to fight racism.
In many countries, there are racist problems, but what we must keep in mind is that no matter which race we belong or what skin color we have, we are all unique, so we must respect each other.
This is a lesson we can learn from South Africa. Next, we will have another group to talk about the history of South Africa.
Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kendra and I'm Selena.
Today, we are going to talk about the history of South Africa.
South Africa is one of the most diverse and interesting countries in the world. It's even called Rainbow Nation. Tourists flock to South Africa for its natural beauty, wildlife, and sunshine.
The first known inhabitants of the country, which has been occupied by modern humans for about 100,000 years, were known as the Khoikhoi and the San separately. They were said to be offspring of early Stone Age ancestors. They were a nomadic group living in temporary shelters, caves, and under rocky overhangs. It was only 2,000 years ago that Bantu-speaking people from Central and West Africa brought their cattle, the ability to smell iron, and a pastoralist lifestyle started arriving in the country. Portuguese expansion into South Africa started with the desire of King John I to gain access to gold-producing areas of West Africa. Expeditions were deployed by King John's son, Prince Henry, to explore possibilities when there was rumors spreading about states in South Africa having gold, when the precious metal was facing scarcity. During the 1480s, they came into contact and became allies with the Kingdom of Congo, situated the south of the Congo River in what is today northern Angola. They traded guns for slaves captured by the Congo and by the Kingdom of Congo and against rival kingdoms inside the country.
The Dutch East India Company decided to establish a permanent settlement at the Cape in 1652 to supply their trading ships. Dutch farmers were brought in to establish farms to supply passing ships as well as the Dutch East India Company. The small number of farmers steadily increased in number and began to expand their farms further north and east into the territory of the Khoikhoi. They were joined in 1688 by Huguenots, followed by groups from Belgium, Britain, France, and Germany, and augmented by often highly skilled slaves from Indonesia and the Malay Peninsula. Control of the Cape passed from the Dutch to the French in 1794, but the British then seized the Cape in 1795. The Cape was relinquished back to the Dutch in 1803. In 1805, the British took the Cape as a prize during the Napoleonic Wars, again seizing the French-controlled Kingdom of Holland, which had replaced the Batavian Republic. Like the Dutch, their interest in the country was because of its strategic location. The Cape Articles of Capitulation of 1806 allowed continuance of the Roman-Dutch law in South Africa, which was already part of the British Empire until 1815. The Union of South Africa, known today as South Africa, came into being in 1910. The country's independence was formally recognized under the Statute of Westminster in 1931.
Essentially, now the government is divided into three branches, namely executive, legislative, and judicial. So, the adventure to ancient South Africa is coming to an end. We are coming back to the present. Selena, don't you think it's interesting?
Yes, it is really interesting, and the civilization now is fun too, especially the specific landmarks. So now, let's welcome Peggy and Ray to introduce the landmarks in South Africa for us. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Peggy.
I'm Ray. Today we are going to introduce South Africa's landmarks.
First, I'm going to introduce Black River Canyon. It's located in Mpumalanga province. Black means happy in Old Dutch. The name stemmed from the expedition in 1844. They returned safely though their members thought they would die. Therefore, the Happy River was named. Also, there is a beautiful reservoir near Black River. Do you remember that we went there during the time we were there?
Yes, it impresses me a lot. Then there is the famous river in Lagos. There are examples and round cottages in Africa, just like three sisters standing in the mountains. It's really spectacular. Situated at the confluence of Black River and Fair River, there is a big deep cylindrical hall. That's the well-known Fertie's Scotty Pop House. Then Thus, God's window sits in the south of Black Nature Reserve. When the weather is clear, the landscape is really great, just as the name God's window suggests. Zimbabwe is in the north of it.
Next, I will talk about Table Mountain. It's a mesa in South Africa. A mesa is a flat-top mountain. There's a natural harbor across from Table Mountain, and thanks to Table Mountain, it was given the name Table Bay. Because it is near Cape Town, you can overlook Cape Town and Table Bay from Table Mountain. When you look from the most southern place of Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, you can easily identify Table Mountain thanks to its strange shape. Nowadays, Table Mountain has become a famous landmark. It includes Lion's Head, Signal Hill, Devil's Peak, and many other mountains. So actually, Table Mountain is not the name of one mountain. Instead, it's a generic term of a group of mountains. It's surprising that the main peak is 1,067 meters above sea level, but the top is flat, just like a tabletop. It's the most southwestern place in Africa. Due to its special geographical location and affected by ocean water, it's really rare to see Table Mountain clearly.
While the altitude is only 1,000 meters, the range is more than 10 kilometers long. It stretches south like a dragon into the sea. The southernmost point is the famous Cape of Good Hope. The range looks like an old man holding its mother city with its arm outstretched. The top of the mountain seems to have been cut off, and the top flap of Table Mountain is gone, leaving only a flat part facing the sky. As the highest mountain in the two oceans, Arctic Ocean and Indian Ocean, the Cape Peninsula is not only attract attention geographically, it also influences local civilization a lot.
Wow, Table Mountain, South Africa is really a good place to visit, isn't it?
Yes, it's an unforgettable experience. After this special trip, I really hope that we will be able to visit there one more time.
You can say that again. Let's welcome back our student leader, Edward, to end our report.
This is the end of our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it a lot. After hearing all these interesting things we just visited, wouldn't you like to visit South Africa as a vacation? Every place has a different culture. Sometimes they are very different from ours, but we can still try to understand them or even involved in them. By visiting different countries, we get to know or experience different cultures, and that can also be a hobby we enjoy doing. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.